A very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television this Saturday morning. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us start the news bulletin with the headlines. After wreaking havoc in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, Cyclone Titli moved towards Gangetic West Bengal. Heavy rainfall predicted in West Bengal and parts of Tripura and Mizoram. Total deaths toll due to the cyclone at 12. Third phase of municipal elections in Jammu and Kashmir today. Out of 207 wards in the third phase, 100 wards to go to polling. Heavy security deployed to ensure free and smooth elections. Eighteen more people in Jaipur test positive for Zika virus. Total infected cases 50. Most cases detected in Shastri Nagar. Fogging anti-larvae activities on to prevent the spread of virus. Pregnant women advised not to visit the area. India elected to UN Human Rights Council gets maximum 188 votes in the Asia-Pacific category, where 5 nations were vying for 5 seats. New members will serve term of 3 years, beginning 1st of January 2019. And West Indies continue run chase in the second and final test against India to resume overnight score of 295 runs after losing 5 wickets. In Youth Olympics, Manu Bhaker wins silver in 10 meters air pistol mixed international. Shuttler Lakshya Sen also gets silver. At the Asian Para Games, India's medal tally swells to 67. A top story this morning, the Met Department has warned of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the Gangetic West Bengal. Cyclone Titli weakened into a deep depression and entered West Bengal, triggering incessant rainfall even as it claimed 4 lives, 3 in Odisha and 1 in West Bengal. The cyclone and the accompanying heavy rains have wrought damage in Bengal's Jhargram and Paschim Medinpur districts adjoining Odisha. Authorities said that the cyclone uprooted trees, holding up traffic, and authorities in the 2 districts have put a high alert. Paschim Medinipur and Jhargram are witnessing incessant rains since Thursday night. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea along and off the coast of West Bengal and Odisha. Meanwhile, in Odisha, the toll in the natural calamity rose to 3 after 2 bodies were recovered in Ganjam district as the state government deployed NDRF and ODRF personnel to speed up rescue and relief operations. Big story from Jammu and Kashmir. Voting for the third phase of the urban local body polls in the state is underway at the moment. The polling began at 6 in the morning and it will end at 4 p.m. Security has been tightened around the polling stations to ensure free and fair elections. Nearly 207 wards in the state were scheduled to go to polls in the third phase, but the elections are being held only in 100 wards, including 56 in the Samba district in Jammu division and 44 in the valley. A total of 372 candidates are in the fray, with the 242 for 4 municipal bodies in Samba district and 130 for valleys of 4 municipal bodies. The total number of voters are 31,818, which include more than 15,000 female voters. And with today's polling in Samba, the urban local body polling in 10 districts of Jammu division will come to an end. The 4th and final phase of polling will be held on 16th of October and the results will be declared on 20th of October. Meanwhile, 1 terrorist was killed in an encounter between the security forces and terrorists in Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. The encounter is currently on in Babgund area of Pulwama. According to police, arms and ammunition have been recovered from the area. Meanwhile, unidentified militants gunned down a policeman in Sopore town in North Kashmir's Baramulla district on Friday night. Police said that the militants opened fire at the policeman at his residence in Varpora, adding that he died on the spot. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the National Human Rights Commission. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Modi said that the NHRC has an important role to play in the government's efforts to achieve sustainable development goals. The Prime Minister also highlighted his government's efforts to ensure rights to all.
Addressing an event to mark the 25th anniversary of the founding of the NHRC, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the National Human Rights Commission has acted as the voice of the weaker sections and played an important role in nation building. Addressing an event in New Delhi, Prime Minister Modi said the government is committed to improve the lives of people by ensuring their rights. He said his government believes in inclusive development, सबका साथ, सबका विकास.
सबको कमाई, सबको पढ़ाई, सबको दवाई और सबकी सुनवाई, इस लक्ष्य के साथ ऐसे अनेक काम हुए हैं जिससे करोड़ों भारतीय भीषण गरीबी से बाहर निकल रहे हैं. देश बहुत तेज गति के माध्यम से मध्यम वर्ग की बहुत बड़ी व्यवस्था की तरफ बढ़ रहा है.
Prime Minister Modi said the past 4 years have seen the government take several steps to safeguard human rights. Citing schemes like the Ayushman Bharat and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, the Prime Minister asserted that the government is aiming to secure employment for all, education for all and healthcare for all. He said the government brought the Triple Talaq Bill to uphold the rights of Muslim women. The Prime Minister also urged the National Human Rights Commission to make use of social media to spread awareness about rights and duties of people.
हमारी सरकार ने कानून के माध्यम से अपनी सरकार की नीति और निर्णयों में भी निरंतर मानव अधिकारों को सुनिश्चित किया है, उन्हें और मजबूत करने का प्रयास किया है. अभी हाल ही में मुस्लिम महिलाओं को 3 तलाक से मुक्ति दिलाने वाला कानून इस कड़ी का हिस्सा है.
Prime Minister Modi also launched a new website of the NHRC that can be accessed by people with special abilities. He also released a postage stamp on NHRC. Speaking on the occasion, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said the NHRC has a very important place in the country's institutional framework. However, he expressed concern over some organizations trying to pressurize the government and security agencies on the issue of human rights.
चिंता तब होती है जब कभी कुछ लोग जब असामाजिक और राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतों के विरुद्ध कठोर कार्रवाई होती है तो ह्यूमन राइट्स यानी मानवाधिकार का शोर शराबा कुछ जरूरत से ज्यादा करने लगते हैं. मैं यह मानता हूं कठोर कार्रवाई का तात्पर्य कभी भी यह नहीं होता है कि अमानवीय कार्रवाई की जाए, मगर यह हमें मानना है कि राष्ट्रहित और समाज हित को ध्यान में रखकर ये की जा रही हर कार्रवाई को मानवाधिकार उल्लंघन के नजरिए से किसी भी सूरत में नहीं देखा जाना चाहिए.
The National Human Rights Commission was set up on October 12, 1993 under the Protection of Human Rights Act passed by Parliament. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday addressed the 9th annual convocation of the Jawaharlal Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education and Research in Puducherry. And Naidu told graduating doctors that quality and compassion as well as ethics and equity should be the guiding principles that light their path in life. Describing the transformative phase that India is going through, he suggested more focus should be given on expanding basic services, including healthcare to all citizens. Naidu said that in order to make quality healthcare affordable to many segments of the population, the centre recently initiated the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The Vice President said that Cbi should aspire to become a model for health systems in India through innovations in education, patient-oriented research and service excellence in tune with their mission statement.
You are fortunate to be among the select few in this country to have had benefit of such a high-quality education. I am sure you have received excellent grounding in the fundamentals of the medicine and are ready to specialize in the fields of your choice. With the frontiers of knowledge expanding continuously and rapidly, you need to develop capacity to access and absorb the latest from around the world. You must not only be aware of the innovations in medicine, but also be active researchers and thinkers who will be able to add to the pool of knowledge and expertise so that you emerge as frontline leaders in our chosen domains.
On to some other news now, Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi plans to set up a panel of legal experts to look into the allegations of sexual harassment that have surfaced in the Me Too campaign. Maneka Gandhi said that she believes in the pain and trauma of every complainant and wants some more women to come out and address the issue of sexual harassment. A committee with the senior judicial and legal persons as members will be set up to look into all issues emanating from the Me Too campaign. The committee will look into the legal and institutional framework in place for handling complaints of sexual harassment and also advise the Women and Child Development Ministry on how to strengthen these frameworks. She further said that the ministry has created a women-friendly environment in which they can complain directly to her. Even anonymous complaints will be addressed. Gandhi said that women could complain through the She Box as well, which provides a single window access to every woman, irrespective of her work status, to register complaints related to sexual harassments. Complaints can also be lodged at another website, minwcd@nic.in.
The point is, we have put in a group of judges who will then examine some of the cases in an independent and free style and advise us on advise them and us on where we should go from here.
And 18 more people in Rajasthan's Jaipur district have tested positive for Zika virus, taking the total number of such cases to 50. The officials say that 30 of the total cases were doing fine after treatment. The figures were issued after a review meeting chaired by Rajasthan Health Department's Additional Chief Secretary, Medical and Health Veenu Gupta on Friday. And at the review meeting, measures taken to contain the situation were also discussed. The majority of the cases have been reported from Jaipur's Shastri Nagar locality, and fogging and anti-larvae activities are being carried out in the Shastri Nagar area to prevent the spread of the virus. An advisory has also been issued for pregnant women staying outside Shastri Nagar not to visit the area. Remember, the first case of Zika had surfaced on 22nd of September. A control room has also been activated at the National Centre for Disease Control to monitor the situation. On to the other top story. India has won a seat at the Human Rights Council at United Nations with the highest votes among all candidates. India was elected with the highest number of votes by the General Assembly to the influential Human Rights Council on Friday. Now, India received 188 votes in the Asia-Pacific category, the highest polled by any of the 18 countries elected in voting. The 193-member UN General Assembly held elections for new members to the UN Human Rights Council. The 18 new members were selected by absolute majority through a secret ballot. Countries needed a minimum of 97 votes to get elected to the council. India was vying for a seat in the Asia-Pacific category, and along with India, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Fiji and Philippines had also staked a claim in the same regional group. The new members will serve a term of 3 years beginning 1st of January 2019. Now, given that there were 5 nations vying for 5 seats in the Asia-Pacific category, India's election to the Council was all but certain.
India's victory today at the United Nations General Assembly during the elections to the Human Rights Council is a reflection of the high standing that our country enjoys globally. We are grateful to the many friends that we have across the globe who came out and voted in such large numbers to ensure that India got the highest number of votes among all the 18 candidates. We'd like to assure them that India will continue its balanced and moderate approach towards the promotion and protection of human rights globally.
Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday visited a production facility of a French aerospace major, Dassault Aviation, near Paris, where the Rafale jets to be supplied to India are being manufactured. The official said that during her visit to the plant, Sitharaman spoke to the officials of the Dassault Aviation, the makers of the Rafale jet. She also took stock of the progress in the production of the fighter jets, whose delivery to India will begin in September next year. Sitharaman arrived in Paris on Thursday on a 3-day visit. On Thursday, she also held wide-ranging talks with her French counterpart Florence Parly on ways to deepen the strategic and defence cooperation between India and France. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news. Welcome back after the break. The Madras High Court has ordered a CBI probe against Tamil Nadu Chief Minister K. Palaniswamy into the allegations of corruption in awarding road contracts. The court ordered probe on a petition filed by the DMK Organising Secretary R.S. Bharati, saying that it was not satisfied with the report filed by the Directorate of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption. The Madras High Court also ordered the Vigilance Agency to hand over all the relevant documents to the CBI within a week. The court directed the CBI to conclude the preliminary investigation within 3 months. The DMK had alleged irregularities and corruption in the award of road contracts, accusing Palaniswamy of abusing his power and allocating projects worth 3,500 crore rupees to his relatives and benamis. And retail inflation marginally accelerated to 3.77% in September, driven by higher food and fuel prices. Meanwhile, while factory output measured by the Index of Industrial Production deaccelerated to a 4.3% in August due to a sharp decline in the mining sector output, 16 of the 23 industry groups in the manufacturing sector have shown positive growth during August 2018. Here are the details.
Retail inflation rose marginally to 3.77% in September, owing to higher fuel and food prices. The overall inflation in the consumer food basket increased to 0.51% as against 0.29% in August. In the fuel and light category, the price rise was 8.47% in September. Meanwhile, industrial production slipped to 4.3% in August, mainly due to a sharp decline in mining sector output and poor offtake of capital goods. Industrial production was 4.8% in August last year. Production in the mining sector contracted by 0.4% in August compared to a growth of 9.3% for the same month last year. The manufacturing sector output grew at 4.6% in August compared to 3.8% a year ago. Power generation grew at 7.6% in the month as against 8.3% a year ago. The inflation rate remained well within the RBI's target of 4%. The RBI recently maintained status quo on its key short-term lending rates. However, the central bank changed its stance on key policy rates to calibrated tightening. This indicates that the apex bank is of the view that there is an upward pressure on interest rates. The RBI also lowered its retail inflation projection for the second half of the current fiscal to 3.9 to 4.5%, mainly because of an unusually benign trend in food prices. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to some international news now. Facebook has said that hackers accessed personal data of 2.9 crore users in the breach at the world's leading social network, disclosed late last month. The company had originally said that up to 5 crore accounts were affected in the cyber attack that exploited a trio of software flaws to steal access tokens that enable people to automatically log back into the platform. Facebook also added that the hackers, whose identities are still a mystery, accessed the names, phone numbers and email addresses of 1.5 crore users. Big story coming in from the United States, where tattered and torn hurricane-ravaged Mexico Beach slowly has started cleanup. Hurricane Michael smashed into the Florida northwest coast near Mexico Beach on Wednesday with the 250 kilometers per hour winds. Michael, which fell just short of a top-level Category 5, ripped apart entire neighborhoods before moving out to sea by Friday morning. The hurricane, one of the most powerful in U.S. history, has killed 16 people, with the fears that the death toll will rise. Emergency management officials say that rescuers still haven't got to some of the hardest-hit areas. Meanwhile, more than 1 million homes remain without power in Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Virginia and the Carolinas.
Tonight, every American heart is with our fellow citizens affected by Hurricane Michael. Sounds like a very nice name. That was a vicious hurricane. Whether it's in Florida or Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, a lot of areas affected, but we just want to give everybody our love. That was a devastating power that hit among the most powerful hurricanes ever to hit our country. It was devastating, but they'll rebuild. They're strong. They're great people. And just God bless you all. Thank you.
And the US has said that it is reviewing very carefully India's decision to continue buying Iranian oil and its recent purchase of the Russian S-400 air defense system. Now, this comes days after President Donald Trump observed that New Delhi would soon find out if it faced punitive measures. The US is trying to cut off all oil exports from Iran to zero by 4th of November. This follows President Donald Trump's decision to pull out of the 2015 multilateral deal that eased global sanctions on Iran in exchange for curbs on its nuclear program. US Special Representative for Iran, Brian Hook, will hold crucial talks with India on the shared need to counter the entirety of the Iranian regime's destructive behavior. Let's get you all the sporting action. West Indies will resume their overnight score of 295 runs in the second and final test against India today. On day one, the West Indies were 295 for 7 in their first innings at stumps. Electing to bat after winning the toss, West Indies lost wickets in quick succession. Roston Chase and Devendra Bishu will resume their innings today. Chase was not out on 98, while Bishu will resume his inning of 2 runs. Spinner Kuldeep Yadav and pacer Umesh Yadav picked 3 wickets each for India, while R. Ashwin took 1 wicket on day 1. India lead the series 1-0 after winning the first test at Rajkot. And ace Indian shooter Manu Bhaker became the second Indian after Tababi Devi to win 2 medals at the Youth Olympic Games after clinching silver in the 10 meters air pistol mixed international event. Manu Bhaker combined with the Tajikistan's Behzan and they settled for a silver after losing the gold medal match 3-10 to Germany's V. Senegar and Bulgaria's Kirill Kirov. The Indian-Tajik duo came through qualification with a score of 751. They then beat Egyptian pair 10-4 in the round of 16. And in badminton, Lakshya Sen lost his final bout against China's Shi Feng Li in the men's singles final to settle for the silver medal. And the Indian junior men's hockey team suffered its first defeat at the 8th Sultan of Johor Cup. The men in blue lost their last round-robin match to Britain 2-3. With 4 consecutive wins early in the tournament, India had already entered the summit clash with 12 points. And at the Asian Para Games, India's medal tally increased to 67 after bagging 5 gold medals on the penultimate day of the Games. In chess, K. Janitha Anto won the gold medal in the women's individual rapid P1 chess event. Anto defeated her Indonesian rival Manurung Rosalinda in the final. And in the men's chess event, Kishan Ganguly beat Majid Bagheri to bag another gold for India. And then in para badminton, Parul Parmar clinched the gold in the women's singles event after defeating Vandi Kamam of Thailand. And in the men's javelin throw event, Neeraj Yadav and Amit Balyan won gold and silver respectively. In the men's club throw, Amit Kumar added another gold to India's medal tally. India now has in total 67 medals, including 13 gold, 24 silver and 30 bronze medals. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching.